you see it? Now the story is very. I mean, you can read it. You can take your time to read the whole thing happening in the court in the court. So you can laugh and this is a joke. This is a stupid. So if this person proven to be a liar, how we can follow a liar?
I started this video with a Christian apologist statement by the name of Christian Prince, who's telling his audience to read court evidence showing Charles Taze Russell lied about knowing the Greek language. But as we'll see, Prince actually didn't follow his own recommendation, and in fact, he totally ignores his sources and twists what it's actually saying, as I'll demonstrate later. As now, let's listen to his buffoonery.
So today our topic is about Jehovah's Witnesses. First of all, what is Jehovah's Witnesses and who is the founder of this belief? Uh, there's sometimes funny stories we hear about people, and Jehovah's Witnesses founder is no.
Where he's going is to this website, which is actually endorsing Charles Russell and the Watchtower Society. This is where it's discussing Pastor Russell versus Reverend J.J. Ross. And throughout the video, Charles or Christian Prince video, you'll see that what he's presenting is actually not saying what the website is saying. The website is actually contradicting what Prince is presenting. But we'll get to that in a moment.
Different. He is the same as Muhammad in many ways. Uh, Somebody wrote a book about the founder of Jehovah's
He can even tell you who. It's right there, J.J. Ross. Is he that lazy?
Witnesses. And this was in his time, not like long time. I mean, at the time of his existence, not after his death or. So he wrote a book about him, and this.
This is the book he's referring to. Some facts and more facts about the self styled Pastor Charles Taze Russell. But what that website is doing, it's contradicting Ross's book and what's stated on page 18. But we'll get to this in a moment. Let's continue with Prince's video.
This person who his name, or they call him Pastor Russell, he was upset, and he decided to take this person to court. And in the court, he accused that the one who wrote the book is writing things which is not true about him. So to make the story short, this is what happened in the court.
The website is comparing the court documents versus what Ross wrote in his book. And it shows that Ross lied about it. He misquoted Russell.
The lawyer he asked Russell, "Do you know Greek?" Which means Greek language, you know. Russell, he said, "Oh yes, oh yeah, for sure I know."
No, no.
Oh yeah, when you say "oh yes," it's mean like you are not only you know the language, you are a professional in it. Remember, the Greek here is a very important key point of the conversation because this person giving false information about the Bible, and he is claiming that he knew Greek language.
Why are you lying, Christian Prince? Why? Nothing indicates that in the court records. You did not do your research.
You know what I mean? So it's very important that this person he knew Greek, otherwise all his writing is false. It's like saying to you, the verse in the Quran doesn't say this, but it says that,
He probably hasn't even read one book from Charles Russell. He's just speaking out of ignorance.
but I don't speak Arabic. Which means I'm correcting somebody's translation, but me myself, I need a translator to translate to me. You know what I mean? Like today, things is easier. I mean, there is many websites which have like let us say the language. Like you can just even the software, you can post a word and give you all the opportunity for the word to be as a meaning. So things is a lot easier now. What we are talking about a while ago, when there's no internet, there's no computers, nobody heard of those things yet. So do you know Greek language? He said, oh yes. I don't know if the text is clear for you to read.
Now, remind you, Prince is reading a website that is telling the reader the total opposite of what he's presenting. The website is comparing what Ross wrote compared with the court documents say. Prince totally misleads and interpolates what the website is not saying.
He said, oh yes. Let us zoom in. Then the lawyer, my friend, what we have to do with the Mormon now? I mean, don't we have a topic? Focus with me. Let us be adult. We are talking about falafel. Tomorrow we can talk about a different story. The topic is Jehovah's Witnesses, so the topic is Jehovah's Witnesses. You want me to talk about everything at the same time? Do you want me like to be like Muhammad? One word about Jesus, the second word about beating his wives? What is that? Come on, focus. So, do you know Greek? He said, oh yes. Then they told him, so if we show you some alphabet, Greek alphabet, can you read it?
Amazingly, the information is right before him and he misreads it. Isn't this so amazing? This guy is so blind. This is what you call willful ignorance. Willful ignorance. Deliberately lying.
So, are you familiar with the Greek language? No. What a comedy. So,
This is bad for him. This is tremendously embarrassing for Prince because he is reading something out of context, which the website is not endorsing. If anyone just took the time to read what he is presenting, they'll see it doesn't match his presentation. Now, he's a Christian apologist that writes books. I'm not lying. He actually writes books. And this is horrible for him because he loses his credibility as a researcher. We cannot take this guy seriously. He should probably just stick to Islam and leave Jehovah Witnesses alone. This ain't it for you.
this guy who want to translate the Bible for us, and he want to teach us a new cult we never heard of, and he want to fix the what is written in the Bible. He himself do not know how to read the Bible. Like Muhammad, he came. He don't speak Arab. He don't speak Greek. He don't speak Hebrew, and yet he want to correct what the Christians believe. So, do you know Greek language? Do you know the Greek? Oh yes. Are you so? He never thought they would go into this conversation. He thought they would.
And how do you know what he was thinking? How do you know what he was thinking, Christian Prince?
Say he wrote, I wrote, etc. But they never thought they were going to ask him if you know Greek
Because you know, right?
about what you wrote,
Hmm.
because his written involving Greek languages, which is supposed he is correcting what it's the real meaning of it. But he do not know Greek, and he was lying. Uh, Question: you don't profess then to be a schooled in Latin language? Like, do you have a? Do you claim that?
This part is important because the order he's presenting it and what the website is telling the audience that the word order was wrong on how Ross presented it in his book. And it's right in the website and he missed it. Christian Prince missed it amazingly.
You have any education in Latin language? He said no. Or in Greek? He said no. Do you see it? Now the story is very. I mean, you can read it. You can take your time to read the whole thing happening in the court in the court. So you can laugh and this is a joke. This is
Okay, now let's read what the website was actually telling the audience because Christian Prince misled his audience and is lying. I can't excuse this because the information is right before him. Now, this is the website that he went to Pastor Charles Russell and the Watchtower Society. So, this is what it says here. A clergyman who used this approach at Hamilton was a bombastic Baptist preacher named J. Ross. In 1912, he wrote a scurrilous pamphlet in which he made many false accusations against Russell. See that? He made many false accusations against Russell. Acting on the advice of the legal counselor J.F. Rutherford, Brother Russell laid a criminal charge defamatory libel against Ross. As the complaint, Russell attended the trial to give evidence, and he submitted to a long cross-examination, roughly 5 hours. After the trial, his Baptist opponent falsely charged that Russell had committed perjury when asked about his knowledge of Greek. This perjury charge was published in Ross's second pamphlet, attacking Russell. In it, the cleric misquoted what had been said in court, giving the cross-examiner's question and Russell's reply as follows. This is what the website is doing, comparing Ross's book to the actually court documents, which Christian Prince totally does not tell you, even though it's right before him. But we all saw it too, and you could read it on your own. Do you know the Greek? Oh, yes. Now, this is where he didn't tell you, although we saw it. This is what the website is saying. By omitting the word alphabet from the question, Ross sought to establish an exact contradiction with the later question and answer. Are you familiar with the Greek language? No. This is what the website is saying, which Christian Prince did not tell you. What really happened is clear from the official record, Police Court of the City of Hamilton, Ontario, March 17, 1913. It shows that C.T. Russell did not commit perjury. The cross-examination by George Lynch Staunton KC went as follows, according to the book Jehovah's Witnesses in Canada by M. James Penton. Do you don't profess then to be schooled in the Latin language? No, sir. Or in Greek? No, sir. Now, this is where Christian Russell didn't tell you. After this, Russell was asked if he knew individual Greek letters, and he said that he might make a mistake of some of them. According to the book just cited shortly thereafter, Lynch Staunton asked Russell the question, are you familiar with the Greek language? Russell's reply was emphatic no. So he totally lied to you. This is what the book was saying. This is his book, Ross's book, where he misquoted him. Do you know the Greek? Asked the attorney. Oh, yes, was Russell's reply. Here he was handed a copy of the New Testament in Greek by Wiscon Hort and asked to read the letters of the alphabet as they appear on the top of page 447. He did not know the alphabet. Now, asked Mr. Staunton, are you familiar with the Greek language? No, said Mr. Russell, without a blush. When he saw that he was caught, then he admitted that he knew nothing about Latin and Hebrew, and neither had he ever taken a course in philosophy, systematic theology, and neither had he ever attended any of the higher schools of learning. A trap had been set for him at every one of these points, and having been caught in the first, he thought it best for him to own up. Own up. Where did I leave off? Having been caught in the first, he thought and own up before he was shown up. That's the point of the book is he misquoted Russell, and the website was showing how Ross misrepresented the court documents. Prince totally disregarded that, and the word order we could know this also in this book, The Kingdom of the Colts, which this is also an opponent of the Watchtower Society by Walter Martin. On page number 88, no, I'm sorry, 84 and 85, this is what it says. Let me zoom in. I know that's the book, but on the electronic copy, here we go, right here. The cross-examination of Russell continued for 5 hours. Here is a sample of how the pastor answered. The following reproduction of Russell versus Ross transcript relative to the perjury charge made against Russell is taken from a copy on file in the headquarters of the Colt in Brooklyn and is presented in the interest of a thorough investigation. So this is how it actually went. Do you know the Greek alphabet? See, the website even showed Ross omitted the word alphabet, making you assume that this is referring to the language when prior to even this question, Russell admitted he didn't know Greek or Latin. So that was totally a misleading from Christian Prince, but he got that information from Ross, which when I actually think Prince read this book, Kingdom of the Colts, because his argument is similar. It parallels one another. But this is what it said. Again, do you know the Greek alphabet? Oh, yes. Can you tell me the correct letters if you see them? Key point here, which Ross omitted. Some of them, I might make a mistake on some of them, showing he wasn't well equipped with the Greek alphabet, let alone the language. He never acknowledged of knowing Greek. If he didn't even know the alphabets, he wasn't well equipped with it. He admitted this. Some of them, I might make a mistake on some of them. Would you tell me the names of those on top of the page? Page 447 I've got here? Well, I don't know that I would be able to. You can't tell what those letters are? Look at them and see if you know. My way, he was interrupted at this point and not allowed to explain. Are you familiar with the Greek language? No. That's what happened. Prince, why didn't you tell the whole truth? Prince. But even Walter Martin even misrepresents this. He says this: it should be noted from this record of the testimony that Russell frequently contradicted himself. How? He didn't contradict himself. Claiming first to know the Greek alphabet, yes, then claiming under pressure that he might make a mistake in identifying the letters. And how does he know that he was under pressure? Too bad he's not alive to explain that to us. And finally, then admitting that he couldn't read the alphabet at all when confronted with a copy of it. Well, he did say he would make a mistake on some of them. Here's an interesting book from the historian that we were just discussing earlier on the website. M. James Penton is a historian who was once a Jehovah's Witness. And he's an opponent of a Jehovah's Witness at this point, at the time of this book. It's the Apocalypse Delayed. And in this book, Apocalypse Delayed, on page 64, it says this: J. Ross's charge that Russell perjured himself has been repeated and believed time and again. Yet it was Ross, not Russell, who bore false witness. In a pamphlet published after Russell's criminal action against him, Ross misquoted his lawyer as asking Russell if he knew the Greek. Actually, what the lawyer, George Lynn Staunton, asked was, do you know the Greek alphabet? Something again that Christian Prince misquoted. Russell simply answered, oh yes. He made no claim whatsoever about knowing anything more of Greek or any other second language than that. Ross therefore distorted the transcript of the record stated, just like Prince did. He misrepresented, distorted the website that was saying something totally opposite about the whole situation with the Russell and Ross, specifically about Russell knowing Greek. He never claimed it. You lied, Prince. Yet over the years, critics of Russell and Jehovah's Witnesses, critics such as Walter Martin, Christian Prince, distorted this. Yet over the years, critics of Russell and Jehovah's Witnesses have continued to use Ross's fallacious statement, plus a number of other charges, two of which should be regarded as utter nonsense. Exactly. This is Penton, who is an opponent of Jehovah's Witnesses. James Penton, he doesn't agree, but at least he's honest with this. Unlike you, Mr. Prince, you didn't even take the time to even read the whole website. This is an embarrassment for you. The sad thing about it is Jehovah's Witnesses covered this years ago. In the Watchtower, May 15, 1953, they were asked about this. Question from readers: are the charges in a tract against Jehovah's Witnesses true that the society's first president was immoral, profited from selling some mysteriously named what at $65 a bushel, and committed perjury when asked in court if he could read Greek? We're just going to focus on this part right here based on this video. They covered this years ago. And Mr. Prince didn't even take the time to even research it. At best, he read Walter Martin's book and didn't even investigate. Is that what you did, Mr. Prince? Huh? Huh? Is that what you did? This is what the Watchtower covered years ago. The perjury charge was not made in court, but in a tract written later by an irresponsible slanderer against whom Brother Russell had brought a liable case, which I showed you his book. The court's documents didn't even indicate Ross's statement. The official record of the case in question, referencing it again, Police Court of the City of Hamilton, Ontario, March 17, 1913, says, "You don't profess then to be schooled in the Latin language? No, sir. Or in Greek? No, sir." This was asked prior to that misquote. Prince did not do his homework. After this, he was asked if he knew individual Greek letters. And it was over this that the question of his knowledge of Greek arose. This false perjury claim to be this false perjury claim has been repeated by many, such as Christian Prince, who never went to this Canadian city to check this old court record to see if they are spreading truth or a lie. Not only has the question they quote been reworded, but Brother Russell has specifically said that he did not know Greek. Did you hear that, Christian Prince? My recommendation is do your homework before you do another false video, more specifically about Jehovah's Witnesses. You are a liar. Case closed.
This stupid. So if this person proven to be a liar, how we can follow a liar?
Exactly.
Do you see it? Now the story is very. I mean, you can read it. You can take your time to read the whole thing happening in the court. So you can laugh and this is a joke. This is a stupid. So if this person proven to be a liar, how we can follow a liar? Any juju witness? And by the way, we are making fun of your juju.